here. Oh, you can go it. I'm good.
I didn't know you were there.
What's another one? This way. Back here. Here we go. One more. Right here. Right there. Good. Okay. First up, just the goal and the idea of this is we're just kind of trying to review the basic structure of an HR diagram and how to read it. And all of the tape, you can see I'm trying to keep it taped onto the gym floor. So that's what the tape is left over from. So from about where he's standing, you'll just have the kid toss it, and wherever the bag lands, they've got to tell you the approximate surface temperature, approximate luminosity, and if it classifies, what kind of star it will classify as. Notice that there are hints, like you can see where the main sequence stars would be, you can see where the white dwarfs would be, and et cetera, but the names aren't there. So they've actually got to try to recall that information. All right, so give me a toss. All right, so approximate temperature?
10 to the 5th.
So yeah, I'd say roughly between 30 and 35,000. And then luminosity is what you were saying, that'd be 10 to the 5th power. Good. All right, let's get next one. Toss it on. Okay, what would that one be?
20,000. 10 to the 4th.
10 to the 4th. Okay, so based on comparing to his, would yours be brighter or less bright? Less bright and hotter or not as hot? Not as hot. And then what category would this classify as? What kind of star? Main sequence. Good. Let's get another one. Good job. Okay, what kind of star do we got?
Red giant.
Okay, we've got a red giant and approximate surface temperature.
5,000 Kelvin.
And Kelvin, good. I like how you use the unit. And then approximate luminosity?
10 to the 2.
10 to the 2nd, 10 to the 3rd, kind of depending on your angle. And he already said it would be a red giant. Do you all agree?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent, okay. Next little guy. Good job. Okay. Give me the info. What do we got?
About 3,000 Kelvin and 10 to the negative 2 luminosity.
Okay, good. And what type of star classified?
Main sequence.
Excellent. The main sequence down in this area, you might also point out to them that these are where your red dwarfs are going to be. They are classified as main sequence. Pardon me. Looking at it, you could also begin to ask questions at this point. Compared to our sun, would this be as hot or not as hot? Well, you got to know first where it is. The entire HR diagram was made based of our sun being a luminosity of 1 value, and about the center on temperature, roughly 6,000 degrees. So our sun would be here-ish, and it doesn't work out to be the exact center based on the way the scale's been drawn out, but that's okay. So would this one be brighter or not as bright as our sun? And then temperature-wise, cooler. Good.
Could you go into the life cycle with that?
Potentially, yeah, because each of the stages of most life cycles are on here.
Wouldn't those down there on the end be the ones that are starting to die out?
Towards the end. It kind of goes, say you're our star, typical yellow star. You're going to start at the center, and then as time progresses, you'll start to expand and move into a red giant phase or possibly supergiant phase, depending on what your original mass was. If you're kind of in the general center, I'll just get down here. If you're in the general center, you're going to go to red giant. If you're up on this end, you're going to go to supergiant. And then after red giant or supergiant, you typically get your supernova. And then from supernova, you're going to go one of a couple different directions. You could go red dwarf, white dwarf, black hole, or neutron star. All of those depending on what your original base mass was before you started. White dwarfs are kind of an oddball because their mass and temperature are very, their mass is not very high, and that corresponds with luminosity to an extent. But their temperatures are really hot compared to your red dwarfs. And so one of the things I always try to ask my kids is, what determines luminosity? What's our pattern here? Well, if you look, does temperature determine how bright your star is? not necessarily, because you have some
groups.
not hot stars that are very, very bright up here with your supergiants, and you have some really hot that are not very bright down here with your white dwarfs. So what does determine luminosity? Size. The bigger you are, the hotter you are. Or not hotter, the bigger you are, the brighter you burn. Okay, so that's one of the things that we correlate and how we can actually tell how far away a star is. We measure how bright it is compared to how bright it should be. We make a comparison on the two, and we can tell approximate size based on luminosity. All right, I think we got two more, so let's toss them. Hooray! And I'll keep that one there. Okay, so this guy, what kind of star is he? White dwarf, good. And temperature-wise, he's approximately 6,000 to 7,000, somewhere in there, good. And brightness or luminosity? Good. Okay, and then this guy up here? 18-ish.
No,
Yeah,
22.
I see, yeah, 22-ish, good. Luminosity?
10 to the 6.
10 to the 6th, and then what kind of star? Main sequence. Alright. Discussion, questions, comments. What do y'all think?
Good.
Okay, this was not bad. The hardest part about this entire one was finding something the kids could throw. I actually had bean bags when I was doing this, and I couldn't find them after it was done. I have no idea what happened to them. The bean bags stick a whole lot better.
You
They'll
know,
toss them in the land.
sad balls would work really well.
What'd you say?
You know the happy
Happy
sad
sad
balls?
balls. The sad
If you
balls.
throw the sad ball, it would, I mean, they don't bounce, so it would just be
Yeah,
there.
You just put some flour in
in a balloon.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
I like that.
it's cheap, it's easy, it's.
And less likely to get stolen than
Yeah.
a sad ball.
Yes.
That's true.
More likely
Sad
to make a
balls
mess.
will get stolen.
Hardest part about that is